Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Without further ado, I would like to start off by kicking off today's topic, which is why I believe that modern schooling is no longer relevant and good for time, and why I feel that it is time to move on from this system where we send our kids to school, and when they come home tired and hungry and bored out of their minds, we send them to education, to coaching classes, and squeeze the last bit of life out of them. I have gone through the system, as I'm sure a lot of other kids in India and China and in the West have. And I have, it's sad to say, but I have become disillusioned with this entire system, especially because of where I see the modern world is going and I see the evolution of technology. And that is why I believe that schools in the modern world are anachronistic, they're from another time. Uh, they are obsolete in the sense that the skills they seem to teach us are no longer relevant, and they are also redundant because the things that the school teaches can be learned in a much better way via the internet. So I'll get straight to the point, and by telling you that how did schools originate first. The modern school system as it exists today, right? When you show up to a building where you're taught by a bunch of government workers for 8 hours, for example, when there's a bell signaling the end of every lecture, then there's a break in the middle, and this is followed by another bell which signals the end of school, and everyone is happy and they get to go home, only for this process to begin the next day. If this system sounds very similar to a job in a factory, that is because that is exactly what it was meant for. Modern school system or systems originated first in Prussia, where they were the explicitly stated goal of this entire system was to produce a generation of competent, compliant factory workers. And since most people today don't work in factories, nor would most of them want to work in factories, in fact, because of automation, amongst other things, this model of education is no longer relevant, right? Because the systems that they produce are no longer relevant. And the goal of producing factory workers is no longer needed for modern society. So, what exactly did I learn in school, and how exactly could I have learned it better? Because if you look at a modern child today, right, and he goes to school, and I'll just give my own example. What did I learn in school? I learned mathematics, I learned English, Hindi, Marathi, which are the three languages I speak. You could call them in some way mother tongue, but I grew up with these three languages. Then I learned geography, I learned science, I learned civics. And in school, if I had one emotion, it would be boredom. And it's not even that I was a stupid kid. In fact, I was one of the class toppers. I did really well in school. But despite everything, I was bored in school. And the simple reason was it did not teach me skills that I was actually interested in. It was way too slow, the level at which I was taught. So I knew most of the things that were being taught anyway. And so, yeah, it led to a general feeling of boredom. And especially when I started working, especially when I joined the corporate world, I realized that a lot of my schooling as well as my education in colleges and universities was a waste of time because most of the things that I learned are utterly useless. I learned things in school and university that I'll never need. So why did I waste so much time learning it in the first place? Add to that the fact that if you want to learn a bunch of facts, why would you go to a place and then have some government worker tell you, or in case of private schools, a private teacher tell you those facts when you can just go to the internet, find a university level lecturer and get it from him? So, for example, so basically schooling is obsolete and you can teach the same things in a much better way. I'm not saying that the some of the things that schools teach are not important. It's just that they could be learned much better in some other way. For example, if you wish to learn mathematics, right? Learning mathematics is key. You have to be able to calculate things, do basic arithmetic. It's a vital skill for life in the modern world. However, to do that, why would you go to school? Because today there are computer programs which can teach you at your level. So, for example, if I'm just a child and I don't even know how to add 2 plus 2, then the computer program will teach me at my level, right? And it will slowly keep on. So there are computer programs today, such as the ones which are given by Khan Academy, and I'm not sponsored by them. So this is completely, I have no financial incentive to recommend their programs. So but point is that there are multiple such programs and so you go to these websites, you just select what you wish to learn. So let's say you wish to learn quadratic equations. The program will start off by giving you the simplest possible quadratic equation, and then it will slowly take you through by giving you more and more difficult programs. And whenever you fail at a certain level of difficulty, it will just keep on repeating that level of difficulty until you master it and you move forward. So this way of learning mathematics makes a lot more sense to me, because if you have a classroom full of 50 kids, some kids will be math geniuses, so they don't need to be taught all that, so they'll be completely bored. On the other hand, some kids are not smart at all, and they need a lot of patience and love and understanding so that they can be brought up to speed. So this is one area where mathematics could be taught differently. Second thing is science, right? Let's say you wish to learn science. Again, why would you go to a classroom and watch a teacher demonstrate those concepts? I'm not saying science teachers are somehow less educated or something like this. I'm not trying to demean anyone. However, let's say I wish to learn a concept in physics, such as about I wish to learn about evolution, right? Why would I could listen to a teacher who maybe has a basic diploma in biology or something like this, or I could just listen to Professor Richard Dawkins, who's one of the eminent authorities on the theory of evolution, right? I could listen to his lectures, and I could then watch videos pertaining to it, and they would explain evolution to me in a way, at my pace, in a way that teachers never could. And this applies for everything that is fact based. And in case you're thinking about that, oh, not everyone can afford these guys, this is much cheaper. So you send kids, for example, to a private school, which costs so much money, whereas you can get better information for essentially zero cost. All you need is a working internet connection and a laptop, or even your smartphone, which most people can afford. So in summary, there are like everything that the school can hope to teach you can be taught in a better way via the internet in terms of the core subjects that you wish to learn. You just need access to the right kind of course materials. Now, how do you make sure that those like the kids are not getting some wrong information? Because for every eminent professor of biology, there is also an idiot who gives them wrong information. So a method of schooling can be where a curriculum is decided. Let's say the government of India decides an official curriculum that these are the things, these are the parameters, these are the key concepts that we wish all kids have to learn. And then these are the let's say these are the official websites, these are the official programs that kids can take avail of, and you can learn at your own pace in your own way. And then once a month or once every 2 months, there is you just have to show up to a standardized tests. So I have a dream. Essentially, I dream of a school where kids do not go to school every day, rather they just go to school once a month or once in 2 months to show up for the standardized test, to make sure that everyone is up to the mark, that they're actually learning. And this test should be conducted in the classroom, right? To make sure, so that you can watch the kids, to make sure that they're not cheating on the test, to make sure they're not copying from their peers, so on and so forth. But so kids just show up to that, so that there is standardization. Because obviously, if there's homeschooling and there's no oversight, there are parents who won't teach their kids anything and they'll abuse their kids, which is also not good. Um, so this is my idea of a schooling. Now, another thing which people will say is, like, because I have discussed this topic with a bunch of family and friends, and they say, oh, but what about socialization? And I'll tell you the drawbacks of school, right? Because school teaches you to sit in one place and just focus on a teacher and don't talk, don't do this, don't do that. It just teaches you to be obedient, compliant, afraid of authority. And is this the real way we wish to get our kids to learn social skills? I mean, the best way to learn social skills is to actually go out into the real world and interact with people, interact with peers our own age. Because in school, you don't have free association, right? If I'm stuck in a classroom with 10 people or 20 people or 50 people, I did not choose any of that. I did not choose who I'm friends with. On the other hand, in the real world, the way socialization works is that we go out into the real world, We play games with people. We play chess, for example. I love chess. Some people play football, whatever. We find our own clique. We find our own community. We hang out with them. We form deep social bond with them. We connect to them. And that is a much better, more organic way of communicating. And you can raise a generation of kids who are well socialized. Additionally, think about all of the free time, right? Because I don't mean to brag, but I was on average smarter than the other kids. As a child, I loved reading encyclopedias. And I read encyclopedias pertaining to science since I was a child. What did that lead to? Well, that led to the fact that the first 10 years of my education, from first grade to 10th grade, that is from roughly the age of 4 to 5 to the age of 15, I learned literally nothing new in school. In fact, whatever the school curriculum was teaching me, particularly with regards to science, I knew much more just by myself from having read a bunch of encyclopedias. And I would often correct teachers because they would say something wrong. It led to a complete, it did not make me popular with the teachers. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, this is my dream for the future. I don't, school just seems like a waste of time and money, and so do coaching classes. So yeah, just that's pretty much it. And I have a dream of a world where we use this wonderful resource of the internet to educate our kids, to make sure they have free time, and we give them back their childhoods where they can spend their time playing, having fun, and then instead of spending 8 hours every day for 5 days or 6 days a week, they just spend 3 hours on learning, because beyond that, a child can't do it anyway. And often things like ADHD, which people are diagnosed with, are not really problems. A young boy who can't sit in one place because he's just fidgeting and he has too much energy, that's not a mental illness. The mental illness is expecting a 10-year-old boy to sit in one place for 8 hours. Let him be a boy, let him run around, let him explore the world, and then when he's tired and exhausted, then you teach him. I hope to do this with my kids when I have them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments what you feel about this video. Like, share, and subscribe. And to everyone, today is the day today, happy Dashera to everyone. Today is the day when Lord Ram defeated Ravan. Good wins in the end. Light triumphs over dark. Jai Shri Ram.